Hello, welcome to How to Win the Lottery, Great American Novel Module 3? 4? 3. Intro.
3.
I'm Jerry Lewandowski.
Sure.
Cool. Off to a great start. Good start. Here we are talking about two books that we don't know. I don't know. You know maybe what they are, but we don't know specifically what they are.
I know I have 10 different combinations of what they could be.
Permutations. Not permutations. They're just options.
Yeah, 10 different options.
So to remind people who don't know this, we put the fate of this podcast into the hands of chance, and we roll one die, singular, that has between 0 and 9.
Why do you have a Dungeons and Dragons die?
I bought these for maybe movie watching, and then I use them for like 2 movies. And I'm just like, this is not a good way.
Because you're not a Dungeons and Dragons player.
No, they are final. Which this seems like they should have done this years ago. They are finally rolling out a version of D&D that you can play by yourself, which feels like
that's stupid.
But I mean, I feel like as an option,
no. It's like some of like it for a thing like that is like exclusively nerd shit. It should be communal nerd shit so that nerds can commune. Like once you make D&D something that people can do on their own, it becomes World of Warcraft.
Can you play D&D with ChatGPT? Probably, right?
I don't. Yeah, but that shit is awful. You're egging on the apocalypse, man.
Speaking of egg, shout out to the egg. We have a die 0 to 9, and there's 10 different options. Each of them have 2 books. One considered a great American novel, one a book that you like, or you think pairs with.
In some of them, I think you can make the argument that it was.
They're both.
That it could be considered a great American novel, but it's just a great American novel paired with another one that is either, less known, more recent, but they have a thematic link.
So Moby Dick, considered a great American novel. Blood Meridian. Yeah. Also considered a great American novel.
Yeah, but like again, a much more modern one. So it's entered the canon of American literature, but not quite. It's not quite as part of the Academy.
Sound and the Fury, great American novel. The Demon, not so much. But here we are.
I don't know anyone that. I mean, I know a couple of people that have read The Demon, but it's like my brother read The Demon because I read The Demon, and then like some other person that I know read The Demon because I read The Demon and gave him the book. The
Demon also really sounds like a Dean Koontz title, which I am so. I was so excited.
Andy Kaufman's all-time favorite book.
Really? Mm-hmm. We'll talk about that. We talked about that.
Yeah.
We record these in advance because we need time to acquire the books and whatever. So we're recording the episode of Sound and the Fury today, so we have not read The Demon yet. But is there a number? I don't know what the numbers. I don't think correlate to. Is there a number you want between 1 and 10?
Well, there's a number. I'll tell you. I think you'd be excited by number 6.
Okay.
I am going to root for either number 1 or number 9.
So we have a 30% shot of being happy, 7% shot of being moderately happy.
In any event, it's going to be an easier time than the last 2.
Okay. So I'm looking for 6. You're looking for 1 and 9.
Yeah.
Is there a number you don't want? No, you're fine. Okay. Here we go. The answer is 7. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Yeah.
One of them is a book that I have read so many times.
That it's like for school?
Yeah. 7 is...
You want to re-roll?
No.
Okay.
7 is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Sure.
Paired with American Psycho by Bret, Easton, Ellis.
Oh, I've read both these books before. Yeah. No, I have not read American Psycho. I've owned it for a while, but I've not read it.
You didn't read it when I gave you that like...
Oh, no, I did. I read every one of his books.
Yeah.
I thought I didn't. But yeah, no, I read both of these. That's...
Okay.
Exciting.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's the one that... Yeah, okay.
Cool.
What do you remember about them?
So I don't remember much about Gatsby. I remember The Green Light.
Sure.
Seen the movie once.
Which one?
The Boz. There's more than one?
Yeah, there's a one written by Francis Ford Coppola.
Really?
Starring Robert Redford.
Who directed
Mia
it?
Farrow.
Can't look it up.
Who directed that movie?
Right in lottery.
Yeah, that is. I know it. I'm sure that I know it. It's someone that's like it's one of those 70s.
Do you want me to look it up?
Sure.
Okay.
It's one of those 70s journeyman directors, I think.
And then American Psycho, I remember like lists of things.
Yeah.
And I remember it being very good. And I also remember because after I read it, we watched the movie, which we'd both seen before. And I remember
Did we watch it together?
No, we watched it separately, but we texted while we watched it.
Yeah.
Like friends.
Uh-huh. Sure.
And I remember it being like, oh, this is actually like a surprisingly good adaptation of a book that seems impossible to adapt.
Because he doesn't like the adaptation of it. He thinks it's like, and he really loves the adaptation of Rules of Attraction, which is insane to me because that movie sucks.
So does Matt. Directed by, first name Jack Clayton.
Oh, yeah, I don't know that name.
He directed The Innocents, Our Mother's House. No, he produced The Innocents. He directed I don't know. What did this guy direct? He directed a bunch of shorts. Room at the Top, The Innocents, The Pumpkin Eater, Our Mother's House, The Great Gatsby, Something Wicked This Way Comes, which is Ray Bradbury.
Yeah.
The Lonely Passion of Judith Hearn.
I haven't seen any of those movies. And that version of Gatsby is incredibly boring. And the Baz Luhrmann version of Gatsby is not good.
But it's exciting.
I don't know. It's
it's
frenetic.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's exciting. Gatsby is it's great. It is great American. It is arguably the great American novel.
And we're getting to it in season 3.
And they both have in common, the thing that they have in common is that they're both like using capital to try to fit in, and like fitting in being the most important part of each person's life.
Yep.
Gatsby's of course looking for love, but he and Patrick Bateman are using like the mechanism of capitalism to make themselves socially acceptable to other people. And neither of them really are. They're both actually like weirdos.
This feels like, not that the first 2 seasons, not the first season, maybe as close to this, but this feels like 2 very popular books compared to,
right.
Like, it feels like Blood Meridian is like people know Cormac, but I don't know that many people have read it. And then I hadn't heard of the theme. Like I knew the other books that Hubert Selby had written, but like I don't know. Yeah. I didn't know that book. But this is like 2 books that like a lot of people.
Because The Demon is at best his 3rd most popular book. It's Hubert Selby Jr.'s 3rd most popular book. Behind Last Exit and Requiem for a Dream.
Yep.
Yeah, these are going to be way easier to read.
Good.
The content, of course, of American Psycho is very, very dark. Mm-hmm. Meg might skip it.
Really?
Maybe. She has a tough time sometimes with the with that sort of content.
Well, we'll do Gatsby next week. We'll do American Psycho in 3 weeks, but this episode may come out in April of 26.
It's so far away.
It's
like a year away.
It's not going to come out sooner. It could come out later. Give us some fantasy because now as we know, every good podcast has fantasy baseball
7
advice.
minutes of it,
This episode's only basically 7 minutes long, so give us one tip for the 2026 fantasy baseball season. Give me a stone cold lock, a Megan Boyle stone cold NBA lock, but shreds baseball, not baseball for
an individual player.
I don't know. If people are using this podcast as fantasy baseball advice, 7 minutes in the shower, whatever,
right?
What do you want them to take away?
When I look for when I look for hitters, I look at their RBIs.
That's good.
That is how I draft hitters, based on their RBIs. Ignore the other stats. Just look at RBIs.
Is that working out for you?
Right now it is.
Cool.
Yeah. But you're better at it than I am. So what's your?
I'm not the advice guy though.
But traditionally you've placed higher than me every single.
I'm also, as we record this, currently above you in the standings.
You've never placed below me. Yeah.
Yeah. Correct.
So why am I the one giving advice?
Because I like the idea.
You've never placed below me, and you're asking me to give the advice out.
I'm trying to bleed you dry for tips.
Yeah.
Theme song.
Oh man.